you know, to get a signature shoe before you ever step foot on the pro level, that's a big, big deal.
Do we know how long the deal is?
It's a multi-year deal, so it's going to be at least 4 or 5 years. But she had been with Nike for NIL.
Nike. Whoever came up with the commercial for when Caitlin Clark became the all-time scoring record leader in NCAA women's and men's basketball history, you deserve to get whooped. You deserve to get whooped because this commercial was too good. It was too good. It gave me chills and goosebumps.
Caitlin Clark and Nike are officially dropping Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever player-exclusive Kobe 5s in just a couple weeks. So this shoe was first seen being worn by Caitlin and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear her shoes. Now,
She kept her lips sealed. No statements, no cryptic tweets, not even a slip to the press. Caitlin Clark walked into that ultra-exclusive, locked-down Nike studio like she was walking into destiny. And guess who was right by her side? Not her coach, not her agent, and shockingly, not even her parents. It was Sophie Cunningham. The moment those doors shut, insiders swear the vibe in that room flipped on its head. This wasn't some boring contract talk. No way. This was personal, this was intense, and people inside say you could feel it in the air. Industry voices are already calling it one of the wildest, most unexpected moves women's basketball has ever seen. 2 stars, face-to-face, no cameras, no handlers, no script, just raw tension and whatever storm they were about to unleash together. Then it happened. A rookie pushing a piece of her $25 million empire across the table like it was nothing. No hesitation, no second guessing, just pure confidence. And in that instant, the whole WNBA flipped upside down. Forget business as usual. This was a full-blown power grab. If you're watching closely, Caitlin Clark isn't just rising. She's rewriting the rules, making chess moves while the rest of the league is still lost in checkers. Subscribe now because this queen, she's not just in the game. She's flipping the entire board. She's not playing by the league's rules. She's tearing them up and writing her own playbook with every move. Nike had their eyes locked on Caitlin since her Iowa days. And let's keep it real. That wasn't casual scouting. Whispers started the moment she was casually dropping buckets on anyone who tried to guard her. And then boom! That iconic 40-point performance on national TV set the entire industry on fire. By the very next morning, corporate boardrooms weren't just crunching numbers. They were whispering about legacy. Executives realized they weren't watching some rising rookie. They were staring at the billionaire future of women's basketball, walking in with zero hesitation. When Caitlin started selling out arenas that even NBA squads couldn't fill, Nike didn't hesitate. They hit the green light instantly. And when she signed that monster $25 million deal, the biggest paycheck ever for a WNBA player, Nike thought the job was finished. They dreamed of her face plastered on billboards, her name etched on sneakers, Caitlin Clark standing alone as the next global sports icon. But Caitlin? She was cooking up something way deeper than just being a one-woman brand. Just a week before Nike's massive campaign was set to drop, Caitlin flipped the script with a single private phone call. Instead of demanding cars, mansions, or the usual perks of a signature deal, she asked for something no athlete had ever dared to request. One golden box. Inside, a prototype sneaker, crisp white with gold trim, stamped with the word legacy on the tongue. But here's the bombshell. Those golden-stitched initials didn't just spell out Caitlin Clark. They carried another name too, Sophie Cunningham. Nike froze on the spot. That's not how this game is supposed to go. Signature shoes are designed to celebrate one name, one legend, one face of the brand. But Caitlin didn't blink. She stood her ground. She told them straight up, "I didn't get here alone, and I won't stay here alone." That line hit like an earthquake. Nike's executives had no choice but to fold. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another athlete. She was rewriting their rulebook right in front of them. Then came the day of the shoot, lights blazing, cameras flashing, every lens locked on her. Caitlin cracked open that golden box, slid out the sneakers, turned to Sophie Cunningham, and dropped a bombshell that shook the entire set.
Sources Nike puts behind Caitlin Clark now that we're going to start getting some of her merchandise coming out, and fans are indeed excited. I miss my GOAT playing. Gonna go ham on this commercial. I thought it was a nice commercial myself. Where is her own shoe? We're waiting on that. We are waiting on that. Wow. Y'all must have a fever or something. Oh, what a great double play on words. What a great double on.
This is ours. Just like that, she split the empire in half, handing Sophie a piece of glory that was supposed to belong to her alone. No WNBA player had ever pulled a move like that, not one. Sophie wasn't the loudest name. She wasn't the face on posters, but everyone inside the league knew she was one of the toughest out there. She'd fought tooth and nail for her spot, taking hits, absorbing fouls, and brushing off every insult thrown her way just to keep playing. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark stormed into the league with a target on her back, booed by arenas, heckled by rivals, and dragged in headlines before she'd even settled in. And in those moments when the veterans stayed quiet, Sophie was the one who stepped up. She had Caitlin's back when it wasn't popular, spoke up when it wasn't safe, and even took fines on her own record just to shield Caitlin when things got ugly. Caitlin never forgot that loyalty. She once admitted, "She didn't need to fight for me, but she did, and that's who I want beside me." That golden box wasn't just a flashy Nike stunt. It was a symbol, a thank you stamped in leather and gold that carried years of battles, bruises, and scars. But the second that footage leaked, it didn't stay behind studio doors. It detonated online. Within hours, the clip was everywhere. Fans were screaming and timelines exploded because nobody expected Caitlin Clark to gamble her spotlight just to split it with Sophie Cunningham. Aja Wilson didn't need a speech. She dropped one emoji and it spoke louder than words. Angel Reese? She jumped on live, shaking her head saying, "She really did that." And inside the Fever locker room, the mood flipped instantly. First, dead silence, then tears. Not anger, not envy, just pure shock and respect. One teammate nailed it with a single line. "She didn't just take the bag, she shared it." Who does that? Because Caitlin Clark didn't just ink the richest contract in WNBA history, she turned it into a message. Loyalty, respect, power shared in plain sight. And Nike? They felt the wave before it even peaked. Word is they've already greenlit something massive, the Legacy line. Here's the deal. Every single year, Caitlin picks one player, not her bestie, not a teammate. No PR stunt. Someone who's earned it with sweat, grind, and grit. Each year, a golden box. Each year, a reveal. Each year, a partnership that flips the rules of who gets the shine. This isn't just a deal anymore. This is the birth of a dynasty happening right in front of us. The WNBA has never seen a power circle like this before, and Caitlin Clark? She built it from scratch, stamping Sophie Cunningham's name in gold as the very first. And don't get it twisted, this league is no fairy tale. Rookies get shoved around, rivalries get ugly, crowds boo, and the media never lets up. But what Caitlin just pulled off went way beyond contracts and sneakers. It was a reminder of the rawest rule in the game. You ride for the ones who ride for you. The ripple effect hit instantly, and it was messy. Rival stars started firing off cryptic posts, executives were scrambling in secret meetings, and suddenly the WNBA looked less like a league and more like a chessboard that Caitlin Clark was running piece by piece. Some veterans weren't clapping. They felt the heat. Whispers started floating. If Nike's letting rookies decide who gets the shine, then what happens to the rest of us? Phones blew up with agents demanding answers, managers begging for leverage, and rival brands panicking that they'd just fumbled the biggest cultural play women's sports had ever seen. And the fans? Completely divided. Half were chanting Caitlin's name like she was flipping the script for every underdog who ever clawed their way up. The other half were side-eyeing the whole thing, asking if this was too much power for one rookie to hold. Was Caitlin Clark sparking a movement or building her own monarchy? Behind the scenes, Nike insiders were already spilling tea about how fast everything flipped after that golden box moment. Word is, the boardroom went back and forth for hours, arguing over whether they could even allow it, until someone finally admitted the obvious. The footage was already viral. There was no stopping it.
All right, now let's go show you something else. So the shoe goes on sale today, or was it today? It sold out in minutes. And I want to show you something right here. Just so you can, just a reminder, so you remember who the cash cow is, who the box office attraction is. You got to remember this. So remember, if you're not familiar, they have something called GOAT. GOAT is a secondhand market for sneakers. And this is their website. And if you see the shoes on here, it's right here, the Caitlin Clark.
One exec was even overheard saying, "If we don't adapt, we'll get left behind." That's the moment the legacy line stopped being a gamble and officially became the future. And right at the center of it all, Sophie Cunningham. The player nobody expected to be in this spotlight is suddenly trending alongside Caitlin Clark on every platform. 2 names, 1 dynasty-level move, and a league that might never look the same again. But the locker rooms? They were buzzing, and not everyone was clapping. Some veterans were fuming, calling the whole stunt a slap in the face. One insider swears a big-name all-star muttered, "She hasn't earned that kind of power yet." That's when what looked like a touching gesture suddenly started feeling like the spark for a new division in the league. Even Aja Wilson's cryptic emoji had fans split. Was it love or was it shade? And Angel Reese's livestream? Half the viewers thought she was impressed. The other half swore she was throwing jabs at Caitlin. The internet went wild, debating the big question. Was this a revolution in women's basketball? Or just rookie arrogance dressed up as loyalty? Inside the WNBA, the tension was boiling. Players were questioning why Nike would hand a rookie the kind of power that legends who'd been grinding for over a decade never got. Suddenly, this wasn't about sneakers anymore. It was about respect, hierarchy, and who really holds the keys to the league. And then the whispers turned toward Sophie Cunningham. Why her? Why not a superstar, a scoring champ, or a face already cemented in the history books? One anonymous vet allegedly snapped, "It feels like favoritism. If this is the future, then what's the point of everything we worked for?" The resentment was loud, even if it stayed behind closed doors. But Caitlin? She didn't flinch. She doubled down in interviews, dropping the same line again. "I didn't get here alone, and I won't stay here alone." That quote split the league in 2. Some praised it as loyalty. Others took it as a subtle jab at the veterans who'd built the foundation long before her arrival. Now the brutal question is hanging in the air. Is Caitlin Clark creating unity or quietly tearing the WNBA apart from the inside? Meanwhile, the real panic wasn't just echoing in locker rooms, it was rattling boardrooms worldwide. Nike's Golden Box moment had rival brands in complete meltdown. Adidas execs were reportedly firing off midnight emails, Puma was scrambling strategy calls, Under Armour hit panic mode, and even New Balance suddenly realized they'd just been outplayed by a rookie who rewrote the entire marketing rulebook in one move. One insider leaked that a rival CEO literally slammed the table in frustration, shouting, "We just let Nike buy the future of women's basketball for $25 million. Think about that. One player flipped sneaker wars into straight-up sneaker survival, and here's where it gets wild. This isn't even just about shoes anymore. Corporate sponsors are circling like sharks, wondering if they should start building their own dynasty deals. Picture it. Car companies, streaming giants, even tech empires lining up not just for Caitlin Clark herself, but for whoever she decides to crown next with that golden box. The shift is so real that marketing insiders are already calling it the Caitlin effect. Nike knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't a gamble, it was a monopoly play.
Another special honor has bounced Caitlin Clark's way. The WNBA rookie sensation is now the first athlete since Michael Jordan to have a signature basketball with Wilson Sporting Goods. She's also the first female athlete ever to have her own signature ball with the brand.
By giving Caitlin full control of the legacy line, they didn't just sign an athlete, they locked down a storyline. Every reveal, every box, every surprise partnership is guaranteed to hijack headlines before a single game is even played. Meanwhile, the other brands are scrambling for their lives. Whispers say Adidas is already plotting a monster deal for Angel Reese, their own rival sneaker line designed to go head-to-head with Caitlin's empire before it gets too big to touch. Because, let's be real, if Nike's gamble works, every other brand risks fading into irrelevance in women's sports overnight. The burning question now? Is Caitlin Clark just Nike's poster star? Or has she become their secret weapon to control the very future of the WNBA? You rise, and you lift others with you. That's the energy Caitlin just carved into the league forever. This isn't just about buckets or stat sheets anymore. It's about influence, legacy, and impact that reaches way beyond the hardwood. And with one fearless move, one golden box, Caitlin proves she's not chasing the spotlight. She's reshaping it, splitting it, and forcing the world to see she's more than the league's face. She's stepping up as its heart. What Caitlin just showed the world is simple but game-changing. Greatness isn't defined by what you take. It's defined by what you give. That's the kind of move that shifts culture, fuels debates, and forges legends that last long after the final buzzer. So here's the real question. Who deserves that next golden box? Who's earned a seat at the empire Caitlin Clark is building piece by piece? Drop your picks in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe. Because this saga is only heating up, and the next name etched in gold might shake the league even harder. See you in the next one.